So the other night I had a huge taco night, so I figured I'd make some Mexican lasagna to use up all those leftovers. So I'm just going to start with my sauce, and it's going to be pretty simple. I have the taco sauce that we had for the topping the other night. I'm going to add that in here, add the leftover salsa, and I got a can of tomato sauce. So I'm just going to go ahead and stir that in. And we're going to use that as our sauce base. Go ahead and stir that in there. So we got a nice little sauce going on. So next I'm going to make the cheese mixture. It's going to be a combination of cottage cheese, ricotta, and sour cream. I also made up a little seasoning mix with some cumin, cayenne pepper, chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder, cilantro, and parsley. So I'm going to add that into the cheese mixture as well. So I'm going to use some of that sour cream from the other night. Mix that up with the ricotta and the cottage cheese. Add the seasoning mix. And this will be our little cheese layer in between our noodles. That's about 1/4 cup of seasoning that I'm adding to the ricotta, cottage cheese, and sour cream. So I'll mix that up, and then we're going to start layering and start doing our layers. Sauce and my cheese mixture made. I also added a couple eggs to this to bind it up a little bit. And I have all the fixings from the other night. We have some chicken, some beef, ground beef, onions, and some refried beans, and I got my lasagna noodles. And I'm going to add about a cup of sauce to the bottom layer here, just so the noodles don't stick. So we'll spread that out and start doing our layers. Now I'm going to go ahead and layer up my lasagna noodles. My first layer, I'm just going to put down 3 noodles. Go ahead and spread some of that ricotta mixture that we have on there. Make sure you get that little tucked into the sides. We're going to add some ricotta mix and sour cream and the cottage cheese. We're going to add some of this chicken mix that we had for the tacos. Add that onto the ricotta. So this will be our first layer. Bit of a take-two recipe that, with all these leftovers, we might as well make use of them. Go ahead, add that. Looks about right. There's about 2 cups of taco chicken there. Then we're going to add another layer of our noodles. I added some of that refried beans onto the top of the lasagna noodles. So on top of that, I'm just going to go ahead and add some ground beef to the top of that. Now that we got our beef mixture done, I'm going to also add a little bit of that sauce that we made earlier. add a little bit of this chopped onion that we had for one of the sides. And don't worry about it being raw, it's going to cook right in with that sauce. Just give it a little bit of extra flavor in. Go ahead and spread that on there. So now we're going to do another layer of noodles. Go ahead and add a layer of that ricotta cheese. That should do it for our ricotta mixture. And here we're going to add some of this taco blend cheese that we got at the store earlier today. And for our final layer, I'm going to use some of those tortilla shells that we had left over, and we're going to add those right on top of here. That should seal it in pretty nicely. I'm just going to add a little sauce to the top of this. That should do it for our sauce. We'll add a little bit more cheese on top of here. So sliced up some jalapeno earlier, and we're just going to top that up. And sprinkle a little jalapeno on it. It's not going to hurt you. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put this in the refrigerator for the next few hours for it to firm up. And later on I'm going to bake it at 350 for about 50 minutes, and I'll show you guys the end result.